everyone to another episode of Cooking with Faye. Cold weather is officially upon us for most places here in the United States. So today I'm going to teach you a heart-healthy cabbage soup. So if this sounds like something you'd like to learn how to make, stay tuned and I'll show you how. So as you saw in the introduction, today we're going to be making some cabbage soup. And this is my own personal recipe, so feel free to modify it if you don't like some of the extra vegetables I've chosen to use, or if you don't like the quantities of vegetables that I'm using. So let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to need half of a cabbage. This is just an organic cabbage I picked up at my local grocery store. We're going to need half a container of white mushrooms, mainly because that's all I've got left. We're going to need a single white onion. If you don't like white onions, you could use red, yellow, whatever. It's completely up to you. We're going to use 2 to 3 carrots. If you don't like carrots, you can omit it, and if you really love carrots, you could add more. We're going to use 1.5 cups of green beans. I like to cut these up into little like 1/2-inch sections just so they're easy to eat. But again, feel free to make this recipe your own. And 1 cup of quinoa. So this is something that you can just pick up at any old grocery store. I really like Bob's Red Mills. They're just one of my favorite brands. So I'm going to use 1 cup of this. And all we need now is a giant pot to put everything in. So let's go ahead and get chopping. So first we're going to take our cabbage and cut it in half like this. And from here we're going to dice this cabbage up into 1-inch by 1-inch squares. That way it's easy to eat and it cooks down a lot better once we put it in our stock pot. So now that I have everything chopped up into our 1 by 1-inch squares, I'm going to put the cabbage in our stock pot and move on to the mushrooms. So preparing the mushrooms is going to be really easy. All we're going to do is just take the mushrooms and chop them in half, just like this. And then from there, we're just going to put them in the stock pot. So this is what the mushrooms will look like when they are chopped in half and everything is ready to go. So now let's go ahead and put this in our stock pot and move on to the carrots. So for this recipe, I'm just going to use 2 carrots and I'm just going to go ahead and dice them up and we'll be right back. So this is what the carrot will look like when it's all nice and chopped up into small bite-sized pieces. So let's add this to our stock pot and move on to the green beans. Next, we're going to take our onion and dice it up into bite-sized pieces. So now we have our onions chopped up in nice little pieces. I'm going to add this to the stock pot, and all that'll be left is our quinoa. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, we will be using 1 cup of quinoa, but as you can see, I've just moved into my new house and I don't know where my measuring cups are. They're in a box somewhere. I just haven't found that box yet. So what I'm going to do is just guesstimate what a cup is going to be, and then we'll be right back. And this is what everything will look like when it is in the stock pot and ready to be eaten. So now let's talk about spices. I typically like to add garlic powder, black pepper, sea salt, a bay leaf or 2, and then some whole celery seeds to my cabbage soup. You do not have to use those spices at all. You can use whatever sounds tasty for you. But this is just a guideline that I'm using that I will show you today. Now that we have all of our spices in the stock pot, we're just going to fill this puppy with water. I'm going to put it on medium heat and just forget about it for the next 40-45 minutes. Alright, so it's been 45 minutes and this is what our stew looks like. I went ahead and turned off the heat, so the boiling is, or the bubbling, pardon me, is just residuals from when the heat was on. And I like my stew super thick, so that's why you'll notice that this almost has like a porridge consistency to it. If you do not like your stews this thick, feel free to add some more water. I would go, oh goodness, didn't mean to fog up the camera there. I would add water a cup at a time and just stir it in and mix it up really well until you get the consistency you like. But this is perfect for me. So I'm going to go ahead and serve this up and have some nice comfort food for the cold weather. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I would be more than happy to answer them for you. And tune in next week for another episode of Cooking with Faye. So until then, bye guys! Thank you for watching today's video. If you're new to my channel, please hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all of my fresh new content. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and continued watching of videos on this channel. As always, if you have any questions or you need help with anything, leave them in the comments down below and I'd be more than happy to help you. And if you'd like to check out another popular video, click on either side and feel free to watch that as well. Have a great day.